my question is about coffee table books.
Coffee table books. Who
I've
has a
seen,
coffee table?
well, okay, that in this modern day and age, that may be a fair question. It may very well be a fair question. But have you ever noticed, you've seen plenty of coffee table books, but have you ever seen a coffee table book about sex with coffee?
You know, seeing all the stories that I see from, McDonald's where, somebody spilled hot coffee on their crotch and is suing them for $5 billion, I think that, sex with coffee is probably a bad idea.
I was listening to a podcast on Distractable. One of the guys was telling a story about being in a Russian bathhouse, and they were all naked because you have to be naked, and smoking cigars. And he was like, smoking the cigar was kind of stressful because cigar ash is really, really hot, and my jingly bits are just dangling. I was like, I had never thought of that. There is a certain hazard of smoking a cigar while naked, or a cigarette for that matter, or a joint. Huh? Had never thought about that. And we all know the main problem with McDonald's coffee thing is that they actually were making it too hot and it wasn't actually a frivolous lawsuit, right?
Oh, they were absolutely making it too hot. I
It was
totally
still
agree with
boiling.
that.
It was
I,
still boiling.
I totally agree with that sentiment.
I mean, I want my hot coffee, but I don't want it, steam valve. That seems like it might hurt something. He says as he drinks his sip of just too damn hot coffee. But anyway, howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Robot Society. I'm Paul E. Cooley. Thank God March is over. And joining me today is Terry Bookdone Mixon. How the hell
That's
are
me.
you, Mr. Mixon?
Frazzled. My hair should tell the story.
God, your hair does tell a story. I just noticed that. Holy cow. What the hell? Okay, so Luna gets like that when somebody comes to the door. The hackles rise up. What has got your hackles up, sir?
This was just a matter of I went ahead and took a shower and last night and forgot to brush my hair out. So when I went to bed, I woke up this morning with it going out in every direction possible. So it's untamed at the moment.
Matt says McDonald's coffee is designed to be so hot so you destroy your taste buds and then can't taste how bad the coffee is.
The McCrappy coffee.
Mildred says working at Starbucks has definitely been developing the asbestos lawyer.
I think that meant layer. Yeah, I think asbestos layer.
And William, you're just really putting expectations on us and chat at the same time.
We are absolutely going to talk about writing because there has been a seismic shift in the DRS family, and it's really important that we go ahead and cover this. Paul, I think we should start off to talk about your decision to switch to writing clean, sweet Christian romance exclusively. I think that's really important. We need to discuss that.
I can't even go along with this bit. I can't. My brain just will not go in a way that's not going to be deliberately offensive. I'm just going to just pass on this one. I'm going to pass completely on this one. You got me? I'm here to say I have no words. Absolutely none. Please fucking stop.
Okay. As far as pulling the very low chance that we could possibly pull an April Fool's prank on anyone, you have just kiboshed the entire thing right there. You're just not even playing along anymore. You're not even trying.
Tim says, wow, Paul writing sweet romance of any kind does not compute. Mildred says, and that statement just made me laugh so loud that I actually scared the neighbor's dog. Yeah, Michelle, you know better. You know better. Absolutely. Speaking
Veronica's not here
No,
this week, as she said you last weekend. We thought about, hey, we'll just tell everybody that she quit the show.
Yeah.
But that's too likely to be believed because who wants to be with us two losers?
She was singing. Last I heard of her, she was singing "Take the Children Bowling, Take Them Bowling." I think was what she said.
She sings it a lot better than you do.
There may be some people in this audience who get that reference. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that Vander Camp Beethoven? Is that right? Camper Van Beethoven? I can't remember shit. I'm 50. Yeah. Terry, what does book done mean?
It means about an hour and a half before the show started, I got the current Last Hunter book finished and off to the editor. Done deal.
Wahoo! I know you've been sweating that one for a while.
Today's the deadline. Got it in just in time.
You squeaked right in, is what you're saying.
Squeaked right in. I still have to, after the show, go ahead and write a previously on Last Hunter, just a couple of paragraphs explaining what happened in the last book, and get that sent off as well. And then I'm ready to start the next one.
So you're actually going to have like a forward explaining what happened in the book?
They've started doing that.
The copy editor?
No, they've started inserting that in the books because people are having difficulty with these longer series of realizing what's going on. So the call went out to the authors to go ahead and start doing them. See, when you're writing for Chaney and you do these, he's got like 8 or 10 other authors, and the readers all jump between series.
Yeah.
And then they come back to yours, and they're like, I have no idea what was happening before. I've completely forgotten everything. What's going on? So they need a little bit of grounding so that they can figure out what's happening.
I kind of did that with the new book in the first 2 chapters because I had both those characters ruminating on it or talking about it with another character or making plans because of it or whatever. And that's how I've gotten around that and basically giving a chunk of information more each chapter. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Tim says, last time in The Last Hunter, our heroes reached the Big Rock Candy Mountain only to find the occupants were more heavily armed than expected. Seems legit.
Seems legit. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that right into what I send to Chaney. And since I'm sending it to him today, he'll probably believe it.
Rock Candy Mountain. Oh, we have synchronized coffee drinking. Ooh, that was sexy. I have no doubt we'll do it again. So when do you start the next book, or have you already started it?
Tomorrow.
You have any idea what you're doing with it?
Only vaguely.
I look forward to see how this progresses.
Well, I've been doing the same thing for the last. This was book 8 in the series. I've been doing it for the last 8 books. I don't see why book 9 is going to be any different.
It won't. It should get easier every time, right? Because you know all the people. How'd that go for you this time?
This last book was a pain in the ass. Real life really interfered with it. And it took me, my spreadsheet tells me that from start to finish, it took me 64 days to get this book done. And that's significantly longer than it usually takes me.
You're usually like a 35-day man.
No, it usually ends up being 45 to 50 days, counting the editing time.
Okay.
So this one dragged out a couple of weeks longer than it should have. But, this next one is going to be very interesting because I'm spending the majority of my time writing the Last Hunter book, but I'm also going to shoehorn in the evenings and write a little bit on the next Empire book as well to try to get something going with that, because otherwise I'll never get to writing the next one.
Your next Empire book has become your George R.R. Martin book.
Pretty much. So I've decided that the only way to make that happen is to go ahead and get that kicked off. I had hoped to already have the previous book read so that I would remind myself what was going on since it's been more than a year, but I haven't even started reading it. So I'm going to do that in the evenings and make notes to myself. And it'll just be a matter of the majority of the writing. I'll try to write like 4,500 words a day on the Hunter book and between 1,000 and 1,500 on the Empire book.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was doing, staggering between track 9 and I've already forgotten the name of the book, Neptune's Scars.
And when I finish this Empire book, I'll write the next Imperial Marines book. But I owe this Empire book because they've been hanging out there with things in motion. I can at least bring it to a decent conclusion point for this arc of the story. I can at least do that much.
You're that son of a bitch producer who's we're gonna drag out giving you the finale for 2 fucking years just to
pretty
be
much.
dicks.
Pretty much, although it wasn't to be dicks, but yeah, pretty much.
We hate you. We all hate you. Well, I look forward to seeing it. I look forward to seeing it all. Complete the ritual. What the hell is he talking
I'm
about?
not sure what that means, but sure.
Oh boy. Well, I got Neptune's Scars finished, more or less. So I got to make time this week to go through and give it another complete total read-through and rewrite a couple of scenes I know are bad or should have a little more attention to them paid, so to speak. And the same day I finished it and called it sort of good is when I started on Proxima Tombs. So I'm like 4,000 words into that one. So we'll see if it moves like track 9. I doubt it will because I actually have work incoming, day job work. Silence! So working on that. But the other thing is the Black Outbreak ebook release was today. So probably nobody noticed because I didn't pimp it, and Scott Sigler Ascension Day is today. So I think everybody's dealing with that mess, but it is up there. We'll get the paperback and the audiobook done later, but we got the ebook up there at least. So just so you know, if you're waiting for it, it's up there.
Another thing that is on my horizon, this may seem weird when I'm writing a 15-book series and just finished book 8, but it's time for me and Cheney to start talking about the next series.
Oh, God, that's crazy.
I have ideas.
You have ideas? I have ideas about the next trilogy in Soul and Beyond after this one. I have ideas, but only ideas. I just haven't. I mean, I told you in broad strokes in the pre-show where I think all this is going to end, or the big question, and I don't know the answer to the question, but it's going to take at least probably 2 more trilogies to get there. Wow, that's a lot of books.
Everyone's going to die before they get there.
Look, I am not G.R.R. Martin. I am Paul E. Cooley. I tell the story. The character survival is very calculated, and I would never just willy-nilly axe a main character or even a secondary character. It is done with aplomb and well consideration. Now, red shirts, I make no excuse for. Fuck them. You know, they had it coming. I was just, reading the other day and doing the outbreak, and I came across that scene where the 2 scenes where the entire Dead Robot Society cast gets eaten by M2, except for Paul, who wrote the book. But you and Justin and Scott Roche, all within like 2 chapters.
Why haven't you killed yourself? This is rude.
I'm not going to be that meta. Besides, I have y'all for that. And plenty of you have taken advantage of that situation and have killed me in stories, so I don't feel like I need to.
I'll have you know that I didn't kill you. I only cut you in half.
There's only been one time where I really Mary Sued myself, and that was in the street. There's a scene in Fozzie's hotel where Oscar comes in and some drunk, long-haired dude wearing a leather jacket screams at him, "Oscar, you're my favorite." Oscar tells him to fuck off and goes upstairs into the brothel. That's the only time I put that in there. But I never said my name, but some people caught it. Oh, God. It's going to take at least 2 more chapters, no hang-on books, no trilogies, no shelves. Someone buy me a library. Yeah. At least Terry isn't in GRRM drawing a tout territory.
Not yet, as Timothy says.
Not yet, but he's inching toward it. Well, centimetering toward it.
I want to go ahead and get there. I saw a map that showed the countries that don't use the metric system, and it's pretty much us in like 1 or 2 little places.
That's what I've been trying to explain to you. Over and over again. Howdy, Sander. Are there actually 3 countries? We're the only large one.
I think it was a little bitty red dot down in Africa somewhere.
I was going to say maybe Liberia. I don't know.
And I think there was one in Asia, but I'm not sure. Now you've got me wondering.
Look out! Here comes the barrage of clickety clicks. You strange people. There he is serious about not completing the ritual. Why did this suddenly become a horror movie?
The U.S., Myanmar, and Libya.
Myanmar
excuse
and
me,
Libya.
Liberia are
Yeah.
the only countries that still use the imperial system.
I called one. I was right. That's because they were a U.S. colony, for lack of a better term.
We just need to get over it. We just need to get over ourselves.
Thank you. There is a movie I think you need to see, which is probably one of the most unique alien comes to Earth kind of stories. And I was really surprised with it because it wasn't what I expected, but that would be Jordan Peele's Nope.
My wife watched it, and I watched the end of it.
You have to watch the whole thing. It is really well done. I really enjoyed the hell out of it. It was a really good flick. Really, really good flick. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it did not go where I expected it to go at all. And when you finally figured it out, or the characters figure out what's going on, you're just kind of like, that's a cool idea. That's a really cool idea. So I liked it. I may have to rip it off at some point. You can't prove I said that, even if it's recorded. This could be done by an AI.
ARs aren't that stupid.
I beg to differ.
I saw an article yesterday talking about AI written by Christine Catherine Rush. And she said that a line from some other paper that she had read talking about AI stuck with her when she was done, that AI was struggling to reach mediocrity and would never rise above it.
Ow! Certainly not LLM. It's not. No, it's not going to happen.
Certainly not LLM. What is
large
that?
language model?
Ah, okay.
I believe that's what it stands for. I know language models in there. I thought it said large, but I'm not really sure.
But I said this earlier. I got freaked out when it first came around, and then I thought about it, and it's never going to make something that is above mediocre. Not really. Because all it does is just cram words together. It doesn't really have any sense. And it's not going to get smarter that way.
Until it has a mass hallucination, and then it gets funny as hell and very creepy. Very creepy. So I'm actually glad I got to see and read about some of the hallucinations that ChatGPT has. They're fun. Because it basically proves out why the LLM just will not work. It just fucking will not work. Yeah, here we go. Matt says, AIs are sometimes passable at very specific tasks, but they are so confident when they are wrong, it makes them so hard to trust. Fucking men. I have an AI looking at a sensor. I think it can figure out how to best handle that sensor over time. Or it can be trained. If I want an AI to do a specific task, like go out and do these things on all these virtual machines, as you know, with a certain set of conditions, it can do that. Those are the kinds of things it does. It does not speak in sentences. It does not think in sentences. It does not think in logic. It doesn't think at all. It's compiling all of the shit that is out there and trying to find the best weighted answers and the best weighted information, regardless of how accurate or precise it may or may not be.
Apparently, if you ask it to do a bio, it'll get things wrong, like attributing books to you that you never wrote,
or that you're dead,
that you never received, whether you are in fact still alive or not.
And the curious thing was the guy who it said was dead, and then it came up with an article about his death. Yeah, so it's fucked.
Now, in a fit of irony, I believe it is Google is being sued by Microsoft because the people that were training Google's AI were training it off of ChatGPT's output.
That's interesting because that's OpenAI's stuff. But again, did Microsoft buy them?
Yes. They invested billions.
I wonder if that's the only reason why.
I don't think you could say that they bought them, but they invested billions into the company, and so they own it, basically. But the irony of Microsoft is complaining about somebody else using scraping their AI for information where they scrape the entire internet for their information. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's Microsoft. It's Google. Don't trust any of them. But regardless, that's neither here nor there. But it just keeps getting weirder and weirder. I just saw the article from the concerned scientists, and the chief proponent of silencing AI research basically said he wouldn't sign it because it didn't go long enough. It demanded a 6-month halt. He said he demanded a forever halt on integrating it.
Even lawmakers, those idiots, are busy saying, wait, we need to put a pause on everything here AI related because we don't know what's happening. You don't ever know what's happening, you idiots. But nonetheless, when this came out, I made the comment that it doesn't matter how good or bad it is. As soon as it starts affecting a wide swath of society, the politicians will put the brakes on things.
It's crypto. It's exactly what's happened to crypto. It's exactly the same thing. But only now they've gotten a little more terrified because this thing's talking back to them. at least crypto coins didn't talk to them.
I feel confident that a few of them might have been better off if crypto did talk to them.
Well, I made that case. The best CEO should be probably an AI. Because CEOs are sociopathic by nature. Corporations are sociopathic by nature. A AI is likely to make more logical decisions than a CEO is. An AI can't be wined, dined, and fucked. An AI doesn't have any blackmail material you can use on it. An AI isn't human. And what do CEOs do besides fuck off and pretend to be the face of the company? Most of the time. Most of the time. So, at least in my experience. So anyway, I thought that was an interesting hypothesis. That kind of goes into Asimov's one of the stories in iRobot, where they had a robot running the entire planet. Do you remember that one, Terry?
No.
You don't want an AI ruling your entire life?
I'm busy having ChatGPT write your bio.
Oh, no. Why would you do that?
Because why wouldn't I do that?
Is it thinking?
It's busy writing it out right in front of my face. I'm about to. It's 4 paragraphs, and I'm going to paste it into the chat.
I warranted 4 paragraphs. That's amazing.
You warranted 4 paragraphs. Let's see how this works. Paragraph 1. It's still broken up, but I can't control that.
You could share the screen.
Oh, I could share the screen. Now let's see if I can figure out how to do that.
Oh, God.
Let's see. Where is it? Where is shared screen settings? How do we do that? Present. Share screen.
And you're helpless.
That's not it. There we go. Can you see that?
I can see introducing ChatGPT.
Okay,
yes.
so it's not the right one.
All right, never mind. I can just read this shit.
Hang on a second.
I'm going to read this shit for the podcast listeners anyway.
It's too late now, by golly. You've had me doing it now, so let's see.
Fine. It's not at all legible.
You can't read it?
After all that, fuck no. I can't see that. I don't know if they can. It's too small on my screen because I've got the chat up, so I can't read it.
All right, well, I pasted 1 paragraph. Let's see. You just start reading here, and I'll paste in the other ones here.
Holy is the talented author and podcast host who has gained... Whoa. Will you stop?
Okay.
Fucking me up.
Finish reading that, and then I'll post those when you're done with them.
Who has gained a dedicated following for his work in the horror and science fiction genre. Was born in 1968 in Houston, Texas. Cooley developed a love for writing and storytelling at an early age. He began his professional career as a software developer, but soon realized his true passion lay in creating dark, suspenseful stories that would keep readers on the edge of their seats. Now I got Matt involved. Cooley's first foray into publishing came with the release of his debut novel, The Black, Lies, which was published in 2008, Lies. The book quickly gained a following among horror and science fiction fans and was praised for its gripping storyline and well-developed characters. Since then, Cooley has gone on to publish several more novels, including Fiends, that was first, Tattoo and Closet Treats, which are also before Fiends, you moron, which have also been well-received by readers and critics alike.
Here comes
Oh my
number
God.
3.
So far, it's made 7 errors. Additionally to his work as an author, Cooley is also the host of several popular podcasts, including The Black, The Derelict Saga, and ShadowPublications.com. These podcasts have allowed Cooley to connect with his fans on a more personal level, provided a platform for him to showcase his talent as a narrator and voice actor.
And here's the last paragraph.
With his unique blend of horror and science fiction, Paulie Cooley has established himself as one of the most exciting and innovative voices in modern literature. Holy shit. His dedication to his craft, coupled with his boundless imagination and storytelling ability, has earned him a devoted following of fans who eagerly await his next work. See, I could have had a PR flack write this, and they would have not made 11 or 12 errors, factual errors. So, yeah. Anyway, it had a lot of shit wrong. Oh, no.
I'll have to try that again.
I'm sorry, but I could not find Terry Mixon. How did
No,
you spell Mixon?
I mistyped my own name.
You know, that's just brilliant. You know, there's a good reason why you dictate. Holy crowd.
That's definitely wrong. Oh,
this
that's totally wrong. Oh, that is way wrong.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
Here we go. I'm just scanning down this here. It says my most popular work is Humanity Unlimited, which is not. It says that I began my writing journey by creating stories and gaming scenarios for friends and eventually started publishing my work. I don't know that I created stories for my gaming friends. It says my first novel, The Empire Core, which I did not write.
Nor did he write the analogous work, Empire Horror. That was also, well, maybe under his pen name, he wrote that one.
Is there anything else in there? Just looking for any egregious thing. Mixon's other works include Dagger Team series. I don't even have any clue what that is. At least I've heard of the other one. As well as several standalone novels. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. So don't tell me how this is going to revolutionize anything. It's not anywhere near where it needs to be. It's just not.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, so for those of us who write about AIs in our fiction and everything else, I hate to use the word AI. They're SIs or SEs, general something intelligence. All of that's very interesting to me because it seems to mean that the first sentients are probably gonna be dumb as shit.
I have got to know who it was that wrote the Empire's Cores, if it's actually a book or not.
Yeah, if it's even a book. Well, there was a lot of that was very flattering to me. I think it was more flattering to me than you. You must like me more.
It looks like that was written by Christopher Nuttall. So, yeah, totally wrong series.
It's interesting that it chose that. That's really weird. It got most of my books right.
That's hilarious.
Totally out of order. Anyway.
I wonder what that other one was. Ah, well, I don't care. It's just crazy. Can't trust it. Can't trust it.
Can't trust it.
Wouldn't be prudent.
And then when you correct it, it gets really pissed. That's the kind of AI I want. I want a passive aggressive AI telling me how how wrong I am. And then even after you prove how it's wrong is, you're still wrong. It's arrogant and gaslights you at the same time. It's wonderful. It's perfect. You had a topic. What the hell's the topic? They dared us to actually talk about writing.
Wait, they dared us to talk about writing. Those bastards. So, Paul, you said you were having difficulty figuring out what you were going to write next.
I did.
And I think that's always interesting to figure out, especially for somebody that's not, bound into a contract to write 7 million books in the same series for the rest of time. I remember back when I was switching between series and figuring out which ones that I wanted to write next, where it was challenging. And I want to find out why you're having such a problem with it.
Well, let's see. What was I listening to? I can't even remember. I was listening.
You said that you started listening to metal and suddenly it was all better.
I was listening to something contemplative and this, that, and the other. And I was just like, you know what? this just isn't working. Nothing's working. Nothing's exciting me. I can't get going. It's just, this is bad.
You were having an existential writing
I was
problem.
stuffed with ennui. I was just like, it's all shit. Everything is shit. I wanted to get back to track 9, but I was like, I can't get back to that. I need to do something else. What do I need to do? And then I switched over to Lamb of God's Omens. Shout out to them. And that fixed things pretty fast. I was like 2,500 words by the end of the album. So on the new book. But I think part of that was just I needed a reason to put my flag down on the new book and just say, fuck it, let's do this. Stop thinking about it and just write it. Which is usually half the problem I have in the first place. Stop thinking, write. Which is a common problem, I understand. But that's how I solved it this time. Next time, who the hell knows? Maybe I'll watch a movie that's going to put me in the right mood. Maybe I'll watch something like Nope that gives me an idea for another story, stuff like that. Usually that hits me. But I mean, I have all of this work that hasn't been completed. I have all these novels that are in various states of finishing or various states of completion. Wow, I speak language good.
Angry.
Yeah, I speak good language. So I mean, it's not like I don't have stuff already there. It's not like don't have an idea to write. It's I don't have an idea of what I want to write. Which of these do I want to pick up? Do I want to start something new completely? Am I in the mood to just fuck around? What am I doing? And I started fucking around. I gave myself a problem, gave my character a problem. We solved it in the first chapter. And now it's kind of set up the ambiance for the rest of this, which is this is going to be a fucking goat rodeo. And if you're familiar with the Derelict saga, imagine Dickerson at a goat rodeo, and that's what we've got going on here. So
you need to have your people show up someplace and run into an actual goat rodeo.
No, that's kind of difficult to do here. Ooh, that's a good hallucination, though. Matt says, listening to Lamb of God fixed things or just broke everything in its way? Omens, fuck it all, ignore the omens. It was good stuff. We'll probably get a copyright strike for that, but since we're not monetized, doesn't fucking matter. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So that's how I did that. You don't have that problem at all. You just dive into whatever's next, or do you have to think about it and cogitate before you dive in, even if it's an hour or two?
I don't have that problem for the most part. But like I was saying that I'm going to have to come up with stuff for a new series. When I do have to dive into a new project, that's always a difficult part. And I always need something to grab my attention, some overarching theme that's going to dictate what the story has to be. With Last Hunter, it was an alien invasion and using technology that was 2 centuries out of date, that kind of thing. So it was very much fitting a theme of book. And while it's not settled what's going to happen next book, what I'm going to present as an option is more exploration. Because I do like exploration.
Man
stories.
after my own heart. Yeah, that's a big part of the book I'm writing too. I needed that.
And I've gotten a general buy-in on that so far. The details still remain to be determined, but in a way, some of Last Hunter has been compared to Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
But I want something that's compared a little bit more to Battlestar Galactica. I want to have a bunch of people that have no choice about where they're going. And the way I came up to do that is I'm stealing an idea from a role-playing game that I have on my shelf. That in that storyline inside inside that RPG universe, they have a type of other space called the Strange.
Ah, okay.
And
you need to remind me of this post-show. We need to have a chat about this. Continue.
The way that it's utilized in the RPG is it's not really our space, but it's sort of attached directly around Earth. And you can have little worldlets, little snippets of existing things that are created by a bunch of people on Earth having shared thoughts about these things. Like you'll have a medieval world, you'll have a high technology world. These kind of things that are born out of a shared consciousness, so to speak.
Huh.
But the thing about the strange is the universe that it's part of is actually a defunct universal transfer thing created by high-tech aliens, i.e. one way to get from one end of the universe to the other.
Okay.
But it all came apart. That civilization is long dead.
Oh, no. So it's open on places it shouldn't be open on, or just randomly opens?
Something along those lines. And I want to steal that idea of having people of Earth find something they think is a natural phenomena that they can use to get from star to star and spread out over a thing there. And it works well enough for that. Occasionally a ship goes vanished and nobody knows really what happened to it. But the idea that I'm going to pitch is having some people observing a star that's going to go nova. And so the guy in charge is a military officer. They're there with a bunch of military ships to watch over the scientists and make sure that if there's anything problematic, everybody gets out. And that's going to go perfectly fine. The evacuation will go perfectly fine when things heat up. But they're going to discover that a star going nova is going to energize that old travel system, and it's going to sweep everyone that's in it, anywhere inside of human space, all to a single destination on the other side of the galaxy.
Awkward.
So that's the idea I'm going to pitch. And whether that actually gets accepted or not, I don't know. What other things are going to be involved with that storyline? I don't know. But I have to have a grand idea that I'm going to write to. And having something like that is the kind of grand idea. Yeah, the RPG is called The Strange.
It is called
correct.
The Strange, okay.
It is.
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, we're going to have to talk after this episode. We were talking also about time dilation and how you may need to find a shortcut every now and then because you can't afford for somebody to disappear 6 months to travel to somewhere and get back.
Mm-hmm.
Came across that. Had to explain it with some great ham wavium, but got to get there. Otherwise, you don't write the story because it doesn't make any sense. Okay. The Strange.
It's a pretty fun system. It gives me a lot of ideas of things that I can do. And I'm not gonna do anything more than just the travel aspect of that. Just the general idea of the using the dead network and bringing it briefly back to life, full life, back to full life.
Screw everybody over.
They're going to be using what's just the dead remnants of that system to get from star to star. It used to be possible to go incredible distances with it, but the system hasn't been powered for a very long time until the Nova powers it. And so for a period of probably a couple of days, it's going to be able to send people incredible distances that they will never, ever be able to get back.
You know what that has the problem, though? That also has the problem of something like The Walking Dead. There's no end.
They've got to find a home. Getting home is no longer an option. They've got to find a place and cut it out for themselves. This isn't the whole universe trying to kill them like The Walking Dead. This means I've got to deal with all the alien civilizations and find a place.
That's where you're going.
Yeah. And find a way that I can discover that I can't get back home and carve a new home for ourselves.
But see, that's just the same as The Walking Dead. We can't kill everything, so all we can do is find a place to live and hold up and do what we do.
Well, in this case, considering it's going to take every ship that was in transit inside the entire Terran whatever, you're talking about millions of people.
Well, that's enough to start a new
civilization. And it's just a ridiculously large number of ships that really have no business being off on their own.
I always loved that about the BSG fleet. It was just like, oh, here's a pleasure ship, here's a prison ship. It's just, the circus ship. It's just like all this shit out there for just absolute ludicrousness, ludicrosity. What is the plural or the was it the past perfect? Oh, fuck it, never mind. Let's see, what does he say? So it's going to be if it moves, kill it before it kills you. If it doesn't move, shoot it until it does. See roll one.
Keep shooting until it changes state.
That is just so bizarre. It's just so bizarre. I don't know. I love it.
Did you hear what I said?
What'd you say?
I said keep shooting it till it changes state.
Oh, well, that's another thing.
Solids become liquids. Liquids become gaseous.
They add a strange pressure to it just to make it even weirder. Yeah, that's what you want. I keep trying to figure out what kind of life form is going to live in 47K helium ocean. I just can't quite do it. Is it helium ocean? I can't remember. I can't even remember the element. That's how bad it is. Just thinking that's not going to happen. I don't know enough chemistry to even come up with that one. You look like you're pondering. What are you pondering?
I'm just listening to what you're saying. I'm still thinking now. I've gotten my ass thinking about what could I do in this thing that I'm going to propose. Yeah, I don't need to be thinking about that right now.
It's a very bad sign. That's a very bad sign. Too many ideas. Well,
that's why we're writers. We come up with ideas.
I'm just going to do the same thing I did with Track 9 and Neptune Scars. I'll probably, if I'm having problems on one, I'll just go back and write the other. But I've got release dates in mind for these books, so I want to try and hit that. And already pushed release of Evolution out sometime in fourth quarter. But I've got potentially three more books coming this year because I've got trunk novels. I have all sorts of trunk novels. It's getting ridiculous. So yeah, publishing schedule's coming more and more into actual view for me, because trying to hit it every quarter, have one every quarter, that's a pretty good pace. Don't you ever worry you're going to have reader burnout, Terry, if you were publishing in like 3 series at once?
For a while I was.
Were you ever concerned about reader burnout?
No. Readers can read much faster than I can publish. I've seen other groups that have multiple authors writing in the same series. That's more problematic. If you're putting out a book in the same series every couple of weeks, that might engender some burnout.
Yeah, I would think. We'll see how this works. This will be the first time. Well, not really. Be the first time I'm trying to do one this quick, this fast. Matt says, occupant of helium ocean, something small but swarms of it. Imagine microscopic black, then apply a hive mind logic and run. I like that.
Run and run and run and run.
Keep running. Yeah, that's not going to end well for anybody. The question is, what does it eat? Besides you.
Each other.
Oh, well, then they wouldn't survive very long. Wouldn't survive very long. Have to figure that out. What else would cause food besides the blood of their enemies? That's the really good question. What doesn't it eat? I feel like ChatGPT has entered our chat.
That would be awful.
It would be fucking awful. Question is, what doesn't it eat?
Yeah, choosing what we want to write is difficult until we can latch our minds onto a specific idea that excites us. This is probably a secret, that most of the readers don't know but authors pretty much write for their own entertainment, and they're secondary.
The readers are secondary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You write for your own enjoyment because if you didn't enjoy it, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
If you can't entertain yourself, you're not going to entertain anyone else either. Are you listening, George Martin?
No, dude. He doesn't even know you're alive, man, let alone that you exist.
Oh, he does know that I'm alive. He's laid eyes on me.
Well, I've laid eyes on him. He's laid eyes on me too.
So he knows you're alive. He may not know what name goes with you, but he knows you're alive.
Yeah, that's the other one. You're right to get the idea out of your head so it stops bugging you. Yeah, that's your thing. I think we all use it as a coping mechanism in various ways.
I've never written something to get an idea out of my head.
Not consciously.
I'm trying to think of anything that would even come close, and I can't.
Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Closet Treats. It was the goddamn ice cream man coming around. I finally had to write about it, and I wrote an essay, and everybody was like, where's the story? You told the story. We wanted to see the novel that tells that story about the ice cream man. And I wasn't going to write it. Then I kept thinking about it, and it kept bothering me because the fucker kept coming around. So I finally wrote the goddamn thing to just basically get that particular image out of my skull of a demon driving the fucking thing. Not to mention all the treats on the side where children skewered. Decided I needed to get that out of my skull. And you have never had that, huh?
No.
Interesting.
But I came at being a writer because I was a disgruntled reader.
Well, yeah, I know.
So I don't have a compulsion to write. I like telling stories, but it's not a compulsion for me.
I think it becomes compulsive.
I'm trying to make it compulsive because that's the only way I can, continue to put out 6 books a year.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. Especially the length they're going for. Okay, just ask ChatGPT what a creature in a helium ocean would eat, and it was way too logical to be funny about. Who cares if helium is inert? You can't let facts get in the way of a story. So I've got this idea. What if helium's alive?
Actually, the universe is a brain, and dark matter are the neurons firing the alien thoughts all around us.
Can I buy some drugs from you? That's my favorite.
Cosmic strings.
No, I haven't even fucked with cosmic strings yet. I haven't even messed with any of the really weird phenomenon. What's a space phenomenon you would like to include in a story?
Well, here's one for you to go ahead and figure out. It's one of the most basic things, and I just read an article about it yesterday. Scientists have finally figured out where the extra weight in the protons are. This may sound very odd, but did you know that protons have extra weight?
I wasn't aware they were extra girthy. They're
the
girthy?
Three elements, the three elements, not the right word, implements, ingredients, 3 particles that make
elements, protons, neutrons, electrons.
When they take them out separately and have their weight, it doesn't add up to what's in a proton. There's extra weight. So they've been trying to figure it out. I didn't read the article to find out what it was, but apparently buried in the center of the proton is something else. Dun, dun, dun!
Quirks. Honestly, I don't know if I want any of the drugs. I came up with that shit. Quarks, yeah. Hoag's object. I don't even know what
I like this one better.
Quacks.
It's those cosmic
goddamn ducks. Matt says, how about Hoag's object? I don't even know what that is. Hoag's object?
It's an interstellar phenomenon.
Well, I get that, but I don't know what that is.
I don't remember the specifics right now, but I remember looking at it and seeing what it was at one point, but I've forgotten by now.
Oh, okay. I will. Come on. I'll throw this in chat. No, not the Rite Aid Walker. Try again. Man, I'm having one of these days. Here we go. I'll throw that in the court of dis.
Oh, that's right. It's a big old circle around that. And basically, the circle is a high density area. Then it has a low density area. And then it has a high density area in the center. It looks like a giant bullseye.
Yeah. That's pretty neat.
I sent you a link to one of those because I thought you would like to do something with it. But you obviously don't read all the links I send to you.
No, I can't remember which one it was you were talking about. I just wrote included a thing about the pillars of creation in this chapter I just wrote, because I heard about it on a podcast. I mean, I've known about it for years and years and years. One of my favorite, pictures from astronomy from the Hubble is that puppy. I met the guy who took that picture, actually. It was a university scientist at Rice. It's pretty cool. Anyway, he was a weird dude. It was just fantastically huge and mind-bogglingly large how much space that actually takes up. It's just amazing. It is light years across and light years in height. You just do not understand the scale of just how big that monster is. That's something I'd love to put on a story. Traveling that. What the hell is it like in the cloud? What does all this look like? How thick is all this stuff?
You know how you get a Higgs object?
I'm afraid to ask. I'm really afraid to ask.
Think of a galaxy being edge on like this, and another galaxy bullseyeing it in the center and punching out the middle.
I'm thinking aliens did it.
Well, scientists say the other way, but aliens.
What do scientists know? Damn it!
There's going to have to be a Dyson sphere somewhere in this next story.
I've been messing with that too, and that conversation about ultra large, massive space construction, large stations and everything else, essentially, for all intents and purposes, are more or less planets themselves. Maybe floating near one where they can get resources from it at any time they want, or maybe it's something special about that orbit, or something for protection or whatever else. But I really want to talk more about that kind of stuff. I just find it fascinating, the idea of living on those structures. As long as you can produce gravity. If you can't produce gravity, I don't think I'll be there for very long. Because, I'm just not willing to live without gravity, I don't think. Not long term. If you want agents, If you want agents, then look at Tabby's star. Dyson sphere was one of the less radical thoughts about it. Tabby's star. There's all sorts of potential links here, if you guys are interested. Astronomy is so cool. I can't wait till we get more of the JWST stuff. Just every time they post something, it's just like, it's heart-droppingly beautiful. Just love it. Oh, agents equal aliens. Okay. That definitely changes things if it's aliens instead of agents. I'm just going to say that seems like a pretty big switch there.
Men in Black. What can you say?
Well, that's where my thought immediately went to, was these alien agents that are running around. But, what do I know? I'm just crazy.
What do you know?
I don't really know. I know that Outbreak is out. I know that I have YouTube stuff that I'm working on. I know that Neptune Scars needs to get completely recorded and done so I can do stuff with it. And I also know that Derelict is more popular than The Black.
Is it now?
Podcast-wise, yes. At least this incarnation. Oops. Which is interesting. It's very interesting. I don't know if that's because so many people have already listened to the first 3 books. I don't know if it's because they're turned off because I'm not reading it. I don't know what it is, but it's definitely a shift in metrics, which I find interesting. So interesting. But that may all change. It may just be the fact that I haven't pimped it. I need to pimp a whole lot. I need to pimp big time because we need more people buying books. That's the theory anyway. All right. How many cat asses have y'all seen today? Because I've seen so many during pre-show. Every time I left and came back, there was a cat in his lap. And when I first came back, there was a tail covering the camera and a cat in his lap. And the two were not related. And that's Pollux.
It is.
Okay. See, I got one right today. A glitch in your matrix. Well, do you all have any questions? Because we're getting down to that time, that special time. Or Terry and I get ready for DRS After Dark.
Got to slip into the negligee, put on some slinky music.
Oh,
yeah.
Fuck you. Anyway, I may not be there for this episode. Okay, just saying.
Yeah.
What did we talk about in After Dark? Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
There's only one way to find out.
It's just more casual.
Last week it was bondage chicken.
Oh, that's right. It was bondage chicken. I forgot all about that.
It turned into the cooking after show.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but it all had a bondage thing. Less of the slinky stuff would be good. Cue bad 70s porn soundtrack and a plumber.
Porn. Giving people unrealistic expectations on how fast a plumber can come to your house for 60 years.
Or a pizza guy. Pizza guy. Or a pool cleaner. I have bad news for you, Matt. To my knowledge, there are no good 70s porn soundtracks. I think porn soundtracks as a whole are pretty awful. Oh, no. But today on DRS After Dark, Terry and Paul complete the ritual.
Shall we complete the ritual, Pollux?
I'm still confused as to what this ritual is, but that's just me. I don't know anything else. Except I know it's time for us to say, if you like this show and want to have a comment about it or hate it, whatever, you can send an email to show@deadrobotsociety.com. You can find me on Mastodon at Paul_E_Cooley at VYRSE.social. You can find us on Facebook at the Listeners of the Dead Robot Society Facebook group, where Terry wrangles all the madness. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/DRS podcast to see our ugly mugs and so many cats. I can say ugly mugs because Veronica's not here today. And if you like the show, you can support the show. My God, I'm losing my mind here by visiting patreon.com/DRS podcast.
Too much porn in the 70s.
No, I've got my Shadow Publications outro in my head. This is just causing a serious problem for me today. If you like and want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS podcast or buymeacoffee.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to exclusive content like DRS After Dark. And at the $10 level, you get your name read, which means, why didn't I already have this up?
Because
I have not.
This is every week.
No, it's not. I haven't screwed this up in a long time, and they've changed the damn interface again. I swear to God. It's just crazy. At the $10 name, you get your name. Yeah, the $10 name. At $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Tony L. Joy, Rick Shaw, Lisa Slack, Isabel Cushy, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you very much to all of our patrons and supporters on Buy Me a Coffee for making this show possible. We appreciate it. I don't think they will complete the ritual. Any idea what it's like trying to find a virgin in Texas? A lot of years easier than it is in New Jersey. Oh, okay. I had to go there. And we have one more thing we have to do before we get the fuck out of here, which is explain to you that we are not fit for any 12-step program. Nothing can hold us back from our addiction to caffeine. And we get our coffee from corpsecoffee.com. Visit corpsecoffee.com. Check out their array of coffees, their boutique teas, and their wonderfully weird webcomic, and tell them DR sent you. Visit corpsecoffee.com and get the dead in your cup.
DRS After Dark. 10 minutes.
10 minutes, baby.
If you're supporting us on Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee, the link is already there.
Yeah. Don't forget.
And who knows? We might even complete the ritual.
Whatever that is.
We're
going to have to talk about that after. Okay. So, basically, I'm